Hello there, and welcome to the Superhero Hub. I'm Sam,
I'm Matt.
and today it's another episode of Up for review. Today we're going to be reviewing
Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.
this episode of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. is entitled Boom. Now, I think this is kind of a standalone episode. I mean, last episode they built up the end like into some sort of big deal. Like, okay, the reason all these alien things are going on is because of Agent Coulson, which is kind of a dumb assessment really, because it's like, what ties all these things together? Every time something goes off, this guy's in the middle of it. It's like, yeah, but that's like his job. It's like, isn't there like 20 other agents like around him who are also always there when this kind of stuff kicks off?
True, but he's the only one that's like come back to life.
Yeah, but how do they know that?
Well, it was, from what I can tell, it was pretty out there that he died in the Avengers, and now suddenly he's back. It would raise questions, and he is kind of there and everything happens, and he was the agent, aside from Nick Fury, most involved with forming the Avengers, and then the Inhumans, who they hate. So I guess it makes some sort of sense.
In my opinion, I mean, I may have said this last review, but I can't stand Agent Coulson.
You did say that.
There's something about him that I really just don't like, and I can't stress that enough. He's so like, because in this episode, you got him and Mac trying to get this Agnes chick, who's Radcliffe's ex-girlfriend. They're trying to get her to cooperate, like get her involved so they can capture him. And it's like, is such a... that it's kind of like an arsehole, really. If I had to describe him in one, it's just an arsehole, full stop, and that. But in this episode, it was like this woman wanted to be left alone, and even Max said it himself. He kind of pulled him aside, and it was like, look, this woman just wants to like live out the rest of her life. And then there's him like hassling him. I'm sick of him going on about May as well.
It's kind of douchey, but I mean, what, wouldn't you do it?
What's so good about this May chick?
She's like super cool, has kung fu. He thinks she's hot.
Yeah, but it's like, is this the only kind of woman he's ever had in his life? It's like, don't he have a wife or nothing?
No, there was that. Well, there was that. No, because remember there was the cello player who we talked about in the Avengers. She was in an episode of, I think, a few years back. But she is May's main love interest, even though they've never really hooked up.
Yeah, but the way he keeps going on about her is like, May this, May that, like proper going crazy on May. And it's like, look, mate, you're coming off a bit desperate. You need to calm down. It's like, is this guy like a virgin or something? And he like,
No, I don't think so. But you know,
he's coming off like that. It's just like, oh, May. It's like, one second there's like nothing going on between them. Then he kisses a robot, and then he's like, actually, you know what I mean? May means everything to me. It's like, I don't care, mate.
I will say, it doesn't really bother me if it's a TV show. There, that's his love interest, so that's what they're going to do. But for his position as, is he still director of S.H.I.E.L.D? I can't know if he is, but certainly he's high up in S.H.I.E.L.D, right? He's got a pivotal role.
It's kind of like there. He's not the director now. He's stepped down as a director, so he's kind of just there. I don't think anyone really knows what his job title is. He just swans around like he owns the joint, but he's like not in charge.
He's definitely the team leader of the S.H.I.E.L.D team the show's focused around. Should he be that intense about one member of his team?
I'm pretty sure.
I don't know.
Is she even like a member of the team, or is she just like there?
Well, yeah, Mace member of the team.
It's like, sorry, mate. It's like, I don't. You know what I mean? You can't just go from like 0 to 100 in an episode and expect people to be like, oh my god, I hope he gets a girl. I hope he gets a girl. It's like, I hope she dies.
Why? That won't help the show at all. That's stupid.
Yeah, I just don't like him. I want it to be like a kick in the nuts.
It's his show.
Yeah, well, you know what I mean. I think it's like the actor, because after the Avengers came out, everyone was like, "Oh my god, Clark Gregg's so amazing. He's like such a great actor. Oh, he's like my favourite character, Phil Coulson." And it's like, mate, I can't stand him. And that's not jealousy talking. I just can't stand him. So he was just coming on too strong. He was coming off desperate. It's like, look, mate, back off. So I mean, let's forget about him. Oh, because he makes me angry. I tell you what.
Let's forget about the star of the show.
Yeah.
Sure.
And if we move on to a character that I think I did like, um,
Well, do you have to think about it that much?
well, I like the Patriot.
Okay.
I think he was good. I think they're kind of. I don't kind of know why they're running with this thing. Oh yeah, the serum you get injected into you to give. It's like it's. Are you really inhuman if you need like a serum to be injected into you every so often to get your powers? It's like Inhumans meant to be like the definition of it. Like the Inhumans is like they're kind of pretty much like the mutants and that. They're like is natural.
They are the mutants.
Yeah, naturally like occurring abilities. Not I'm going to inject myself. It's like if like someone just pops up and's like, oh, I'm doing this really good, like this strong steroid stuff. Call me Inhuman. It's like, would you call Captain America Inhuman?
Yeah, but I mean, yeah, no.
It's like
but
they're getting really loose.
It's basically what the Facer is, isn't it? It's always been, he's a bit of a lame Captain America. They even in this episode they give him a sort of lame version of Cap's suit in the Winter Soldier. Like it looks pretty much the same with the star and whatnot. Is he Inhuman? I don't know. Who cares?
I'm kind of sick of him going around saying he's Inhuman, because that's like me just popping some steroids and that, bench pressing 200 and be like, call me Inhuman, please. It's like, mate, you know what I mean? It's just something's not quite right with that one.
Regardless of whether he's Inhuman or not, he's a dude with like super strength, right? So
yeah, he has to juice up to get it though.
So does the Hulk. It is what it is. Super soldier serums are part of Marvel. There's lots of them. It's always been, you're always trying to recreate the super soldier thing. That's a big part of the Marvel universe. I think what was kind of, I guess, clever was the way they kind of worked into the writing of the episode, the way they probably feel about the character themselves, which is trying to find his place in the team, where he fits in.
He shouldn't be in the team. He's the director of S.H.I.E.L.D. He should be going around doing other stuff, not hanging around with one team. That's like if you work in an office, you got the manager, you got about 10 divisions, and like the manager's just like bumming around with like the janitors.
Well, the S.H.I.E.L.D. isn't what it was. Remember Winter Soldier and oh god, what are they called? Hydra. And the Hydra tech infiltrating them. So it's not like S.H.I.E.L.D. what it used to be, this big group. There's less of them now, so I guess he can be involved. And again, they kind of did that in the episode as well, where Daisy said to him that we've got it, and he spoke to the press. Admittedly, yes, then he did get involved at the end of the episode, but I think that's going to be his place, trying to balance that dynamic.
I think he should go back to his desk job.
That's not very interesting for the show, though, is it?
I mean, if he was actually Inhuman and he was flexing someone else from like super strength, I mean, it's like, what do you need super strength in the show for? You got everyone else doing like martial arts and stuff like that. You got Daisy doing her little quake stuff. It's like you don't really need someone with super strength because they can just like slap everyone else up.
You can always have someone with super strength, and it's not like he doesn't seem to be massively overpowered. It's not like he's the Hulk or something.
No power. No power.
Didn't you say you liked him?
Yeah.
It's not sounding like it.
Yeah, I like him. I think he's okay, but if like if they sort him out, he'd be a good character. You know what I mean? But at the minute, I'm just annoyed with how the show's portraying him, because I think he could be a good character.
Well, what do you want him to do then?
I want him to actually be Inhuman. I want him to stop bumming around with these injection stuff. Let him be Inhuman and let him actually have a point. Give him other abilities apart from super strength. I want him to be cool. So
not really the Patriot, though, is it?
Moving away from that,
what about Radcliffe? We've got to still have Radcliffe, alright?
Yeah.
Well, that's tied in. We're going to have to get back to Coulson because that's tied into the girlfriend.
Yeah, I think what it's doing with the kind of Matrix thing, I'm going to call it the Matrix, the framework or whatever.
Okay.
Well, he's put his girl in there. You got May in there. Don't want to talk about her, but you got his girl in there, and it's like, right, I'm going to put you in here, and it's basically like the Matrix. He didn't use the word Matrix, but it basically is. It's like, well, He's saying that her consciousness is uploaded to it now, so it's like you might as well just destroy her body. There's no need for her body now.
Yeah, maybe, but maybe the body holds some sort of sentimental value for him, and maybe he. It was mentioned by the girlfriend whose name I can't remember.
What girlfriend? Agnes.
Agnes, right? It was mentioned by Agnes before she knew the Darkhold had kind of taken hold of Radcliffe, that he would never really hurt anyone previously. Maybe that's a holdover. Maybe, you know, he just doesn't want to burn someone's body. There is a difference between burning up the body of a robot and that of a person. I don't know what he's going to do with it though. You know, May is still alive.
Apart from like an interrogation technique, there's not really much need for the framework anyway. I mean, he's putting May in there. Is she gonna come out catatonic or whatever? And like it is using that to get information. But my issue is like I don't see why they're putting so much focus on it, because I figure is going to get stopped at the end of the season. I figure they're just going to blow up all this stuff. They're going to shelve the LMD stuff because there's too much like paranoia around it. It's like who's who. That they'll kill him, or they'll be put in a position where he's just going to be like, I'd rather die. So I mean, I don't see why they're putting so much focus on this framework thing.
Well, because that's his deal, isn't it? That's the arc. They're going to have to work through that, and then yes, they will probably destroy it at the end. But it's also going to probably call into question, you know, what's human and what isn't. The show's delving into a place where it's pretty heavy in TV right now. Westworld and humans and like, you know, we were talking about last week, Battlestar, and lots of things have dealt with it. Even TNG. And at the end of the episode, you had the robot version of Agnes
take off the ring.
Yeah, and put it on herself. What does that mean?
Well, they were talking about her and him were talking about like emotional stuff earlier on in the episode. So I mean, whether she's literally going to be like, but will he accept that anyway? You'd just be like, you're not her, you're just a robot of her. You know what I mean? So it's just like, whatever, like dismissed.
I doubt it. It may be a sign that the LMDs are taking on life.
Yeah, but I think they already did that anyway with the Turing test, because they administered that to Aida or whatever her name is. They put her through the Turing test earlier on in the episode and determined that she was like self-aware, if you know what I mean. So I think that's probably just not, because I don't think she realised before this episode who she was modelled with, because they showed the picture and she was like, I'm not unique. Yeah. So now she figures, right, this human's worthless now, we put her in the framework, her body's just going to decay. I'm going to try and become more like her, because now I am unique, because that body's done for. So the robot me is superior. I like the blow up guy. I like that villain. I thought he was pretty decent. I like the effects on him as well, because normally they'd just have it all put together, but you know, you had like the skeleton, then the organs and stuff, and then the skin back on, and he was walking around naked. I thought that was decent.
That was pretty cool. I like the scene they did with the basically like their version of Senator Kelly, you know, from the X-Men, who hates mutants. It was the woman, I can't remember her name, but did the fake out with the dude who, the blow up guy, let's call him that, it doesn't matter what his name is, but that scene was pretty cool. He was okay. You know, I think he's more interesting than the other dude, you know, the guy he works for.
Yeah.
I'd rather keep him around.
So it is meant to be like the puppet master. He's got like Radcliffe on like doing his bidding. He's got this guy going out to try and capture him. Turns out that all kind of blew up in their face, no pun intended. So I don't know where he's going to go from there. Whether they're trying to, like, with the bombing of that building, they're trying to build up some sort of like political angst against like the Inhumans or whatever, and trying to get it like public fear and stuff like that.
Yeah, I mean, like I say,
that angle.
It's something the X-Men, and you know, I'm not knocking S.H.I.E.L.D. for doing it, I can go for it, but it's something the X-Men have done for years. They've always built up the political angle and getting the public against them, so it's a way to go. where it's going to lead in the end. Like I say, I just think the blow up guy and Radcliffe are far more interesting than the other dude. I'm glad he's come back to Russia. I don't really need to bring him back.
So, is there any other points you feel like we should cover?
No, not really. And everything, there was a scene with Fitz bringing soup to the pastry. It was kind of funny, but really, they didn't have much of a role in the episode. I don't think the episode was standalone. I do think it was important. I think the girl finding out about the robot girl finding out about the real one was cool. I think that's necessary. I think we know more about Radcliffe's motivations. I thought it was pretty good. So we're going to get her to school. Let's do it.
I will give it a 6.5.
Okay, I'll give it a 7.5. I thought it was okay.
I mean, there's a couple of things it really needs to iron out. They need to kind of differentiate what's inhuman and what's not inhuman. They need to give people proper, like, outsider people who are, like, desperate to get attention. They need to give them proper roles in the show and make them actually, like, oh, this guy's, like, integral part of the team. I can't imagine the team functioning without them, even though their ability is only super strength. So I think they need to iron out some of that stuff before they get to the end. Maybe be a little less predictable in their episodes and go from there. So that's it. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe. I'm Sam.
I'm Matt.
And you've been watching the Superhero Hub.